Hey everybody, Marco here, and welcome to another pencil mark video. I don't know why I'm doing another Japanese sums, but I just really like this genre, I guess. This one in particular is by iBag, who is actually a person I've met recently. We've had brunch together at a Logic Masters DE meetup, and it was quite fun meeting up with a lot of those people who usually go to the World Puzzle Championship on the Germany team and who upload a lot of puzzles to Logic Masters DE. I'll also link this one below. It's also on the website. I think this was a puzzle made for the German LM Championship, but it was sort of on the back burner, I guess, and other puzzles were there instead. This one is called Die Wilden Zwanziger, which it's a Japanese sums puzzle, first of all, so the regular Japanese sums rules apply. We got to put a number from 1 to 9 in some cells. Other cells are shaded, which basically equate to 0. Numbers may not repeat in a row or column, and the numbers that are in a row or column, they add up to the clues outside in that sequence. The variant here, oh yeah, also numbers don't repeat in a row or column, but they don't all have to be there. The variant is that there's 5 different places here where we have a wild 20. For context, I'm pretty sure the American equivalent to the wild 20s is the roaring 20s. But yeah, around these 20s, in each of the orthogonal directions here, we have to make numbers that add up to 20, like so. So for example, we could have 9, we could have 6, we could have 2, and we could have 3, and that adds up to 20. Or we could have 9, 6, 5, and a shaded cell here. The shaded cells here are equivalent to 0. The other thing is that these, you can sort of think of them like a ramp going up and a ramp going down, because the outside clues, they ignore some squares here. So for example, this clue, it only sees these cells. It ignores this clue above the 20. The clue below the 20 would be ignored in the same way, but the clue on the same row as the 20 goes across. Similar thing with the clues going down. Whoops. These clues ignore the, let's call it the ramp field, but this 12 clue sees all of the things here. But yeah, with the ramp field here, whatever is in here basically does not matter for the clue, but it is still, we do still have to keep the number in mind for the condition where numbers may not repeat in a row / column. So for example, this 20, we could make it with, I don't know, we just set this a 9, a 4, and a 7 maybe, and then it would be a shaded cell here. But there could be anything in the center here, and that would not affect the 20 clue going down. It only affects the 21 clue going across. So with that in mind, I think we have everything we need for the rules. This looks like it's going to be a long grind, so let's get started. So from what I can tell, each clue here, besides 2, do intersect one of these ignored cells. So like the 30 intersects this one, the 21 intersects this one. Only the 11s going down and the 20s going across see all 11 cells. So those are the important ones. The 11s, well, each of these 11s has to be made up of at least 2 numbers, right? The highest number that we can enter is a 9, and then we have to add 2. There's 4 different combos to make 11 with 2 numbers. And also we have to have a blank cell between each pair. So that is actually our maximum length of 11. We have to shade a bunch of cells here. I'm going to use this shading here because is this a weird way to shade things? I would use the paint bucket tool in Clip Studio Paint, but it does some weird anti-aliasing stuff, so it overlaps the lines a lot. Anyways, here we have 4 different groups of 2 cells that each add up to 11. And this is the only way we can space those out. The 45 clue next to that is also interesting because that does imply that all numbers from 1 to 9 are within that are seen by this clue. This means that nothing gets ignored, so what's ignored here is in fact a shaded cell as well. I'm just going to go to my pencil mark layer, and I've decided on a dot in the bottom right. I'll do this to sort of mark that something is going to go in this cell. I'll just use my regular top left corner numbers to indicate what numbers there are. These 20s, they take at least 3 cells each, so these cells have to take a number. I'm looking at the top to see if there's any high sums that, similar to the 45, would basically make it impossible for something to be in this group of 2. I mean, in this covered cell. I'm not seeing any as of now. I do see a thing for this 10, 10, 10 group here in the 3rd row from the bottom. A 10, similar to an 11, consists of 2, or at least 2 to 4 unshaded cells. We have a shaded cell in the middle here dividing the left and the right sides. So one of these sides has 2 groups of 10 and one only has 1 group of 10. But we can't put 2 groups of 10 on the right side over here because we can't separate them. This separated cell is ignored. So we gotta put 2 different groups on the left side. I guess one thing about putting these shaded cells in the 20s, we do need at least 3 numbers from 1 to 9 to make a 20. So we can also mark all the numbers that are not shaded in those 2 groups here. And this one would have to connect to this one on the right. Right, for the 45, I was going to do this but forgot. Basically, a group of 9 has to be in this column, and it's either going to be at the top or at the bottom. This 9499 group in the 4th row from the bottom now, how do we fill that out? I'm going to guess that this group of confirmed unshaded cells we have in the middle is going to be the 4, because we have 3 cells on the left side. We can't place the 4 on the left side. It's possible for us to have the 9 have a non-shaded cell here, but then we get the 4. On the right side, we have 5 cells next to that, so we can only place 2 9s. We cannot place the 4 right of this group or to the left of it, so this is in fact a 1-3 pair to make the 4. And the 1 cannot be in the 11s column in the middle, so we do actually have our first numbers placed. We have a 1 and a 3, and pairing with the 3, it's an 8 in the 11s. We gotta shade these cells to the left and the right now. We know that one of these 9 groups on the right is going to be the 1 cell group, so this is also going to be 2 cells to the left. Now that we have the 1, 3, what else can we do? It might be more important to note that we have a bunch of guaranteed unshaded cells on the left side now. This is a 12, 9, 7. I was wondering if the 7 would need to be pushed into the bottom here, but it is fine as is, because we can use 2 cells for the 12, and then 1 cell for the 9 here, and then it's still fine to place the 7 up top, or just to have this single cell for the 7, of course. But the 7 might also end up in the bottom over here. We don't have a way to distinguish between those yet. For the 9s in the 4th row from the bottom again, we do have a 1-3 pair. here for the 4. That means out of the other 9s, we definitely have like the single cell 9, but then we also have 2 pairs, and those now have to be 2, 7 and 4, 5. That means we do know that this number is either a 6 or an 8, because those are the only two numbers unaccounted for in that row. I think that makes sense, yeah. Both of those also work fine with the 20. Going down, however, I don't think we can connect in column 2. We can't connect these cells because we need at least 3 cells here to make a 20 group. And if we connect these 3 cells to this one cell, then there's no place to put the 2. And as a matter of fact, yeah, we do need all 3 of these cells at the top to make a 20. This also means we do shade this cell. Row 7, we cannot put anything to the left of the shaded cell because the 10 requires at least 2. And as a matter of fact, yeah, we can even go a little bit further with the shading because we cannot put a group of 2 in this position. So in fact, all of this is shaded. No, wait. I nearly messed up there because the 8, it called out to me that the 8 was going to be a part of the 10, but actually, yeah, that's in an ignored 20s clue cell. I forgot. As I was saying though, this has got to be a 2, meaning that the 20 stretches out to take all 4 of these cells because the remaining ones are 18 and that needs 3. We have the 12 clue. The 12 is going to take cells at the bottom here, at least 2 of them, and it's not including the 20s clue, so we do go down at least 1. We could go 2, but we also don't have to. This 8 clue, it could be a standalone or it could go up. If it goes up, it takes a 2 because this is a 2 on the left side. I don't think this unshaded cell here can be part of the 15 for row 3, because if it is, then this is a connected group if this cell is unshaded. So this cell here is unshaded and it's going to be a 7 group here connecting through this ramp, and the 2 15 groups are going to be on the right side with a shaded cell here in the middle. That means we need to take more cells here as part of the 20. The cell is also going to be shaded. That means the 12 is going to have to be above. This 21 needs to take at least 3, so it goes across a little bit. The 30 needs to take at least 4, so we extend out until the 5th column in row 1. That actually does give us our 45. We get the information that it goes up instead of down, so that is our shaded cell in the bottom row. I'm doing a lot of shading and unshading right now, but we can definitely fill in some numbers later. 15 and the 20. The 20, or no, we're still not sure what this is, but it goes out to the right at least 1 cell. Right, I was going to do some numbers here. The 7 is a 1, 2, 4 triple. So this is a 1, 4. We can just say it's a 4 because 2 is in that column and it is a part of a 3-cell 20 clue. So 1 would leave 19, which is impossible to satisfy with 2 cells. And with the 1 in column 5, we can get the rest. 28 in column 4 needs to take at least 4 cells, so we go down. And yeah, either way, there is an unshaded cell in the 3rd row from the bottom on the other side of this shaded square. So that is our only 2nd group anyway. Since this shaded cell can only... I'm messing up my words again, I'm sorry. Since that unshaded group can only take 3 maximum, that's 1 or 2 cells. So that stays unconnected to the bottom row. Okay, the 20 going down, that is either a 7 or a 9. This 9 clue We cannot connect it to the big group, so that is going to be a shaded cell. There's a 1 group somewhere on the right, which is weird. But for now, we do have 20 here. I don't think we can make this a 7, because in that case we would have a 2 on the left side. It would have to connect with these 2 cells at the bottom to satisfy 3 number regions in that row. And this cell can only be a 2 because of the 2 clue on the left side. So that's a contradiction, making this a guaranteed 9, meaning we have a shaded cell here and a 7 up top. This is either going to be, well, no, now that we have a shaded cell in this spot in the 5th row, we cannot have a singleton 2 region on the left side of that, so this is going to be a 2. That's going to be a 6. Down below, how do we make the 20 down below? We've used a 7 and an 8. So our next highest options are, a 7 and a 9. So our next highest options are 6, 8, 5, and 1. Right? Yeah, 6, 8, 5, 1. Or 6, 8. We can also use the 3, I think. No, because this column's sum is 42, which means 3 is either missing or it's on the ramp. So this is in fact 6, 8, 5, 1, meaning our number up top here is 3. That does extend the 21 at least 1 more. And then we have a 6-cell group for 21. That means that is the most we can do. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the numbers on the left. There is going to be a 7, 9 pair on the right, not including the underpass number, which means the underpass number is 8. That's the only other number unused in that row. So this is going to be 7 or 9, meaning that it's going to be a 5 or a 3 above. Because of the 3 5s on the left, we cannot have a singleton 3 region between the 30 and this. So we got to make this, so we got to make this the 3, and this is going to be the 5 to the right. Because this is the 5, we also get to shade the cell below it, meaning our 7, 9 goes to the left a little. This cell up here is also shaded to disconnect the 3 from the rest. 16 means this cell is shaded. We cannot have a 1 cell for that. 1 below that, since this is unshaded, it connects to at least 1 more. That means there's nothing up top here, so this cell is shaded. At the bottom there's a 3, which can only go up at least 1. At most 1. The 12 pairs up with a 9, which means the 7 goes into column 8. 5 goes with 8 more below that. We can't really distribute these yet. We know that there's a 15 and a 15, so that means it's going to be a 6, 9 pair and a 7, 8 pair, but we don't know which one goes where yet. We also know these 2 cells are going to add up to 12. These 2 cells add up to 10. These 2 cells, no, let's get this correctly. These 2 cells add up to 15. These 2 cells add up to 12. 15, 12. That means it's impossible for these 2 cells to add up to 10 because this would be an odd number, 15 plus 12 plus 10. So that means the 18 group goes down at least 1 more. That was kind of convoluted, but yeah, the 18 group goes down 1 more. But yeah, based on those sums, if we did something like have a 6 here, first of all, we can't do that because it would get paired up with a 6. If we had a 7 here, this ends up as an 8, yeah. If we have an 8 here, this would be a 7. This would become a 4. That's still fine if this is a 1. If we had a 9 here, this would end up being a 6, and this would end up being a 3. We would still be fine with, we need 3 below this, we can't use the number 3 itself, and we can't use a 2 because, or like we can't use a 1-2 pair because 2s are on the other side. That is too roundabout, but it's going to give us 7, 8, 4, 1, shaded cell here, and shaded cell to the right. To make the 9, the 8 pairs up with the 1, and this gets shaded. We have 2 more 9s at the bottom, but we have the singleton 9 as an option, so we don't know how that works out. 18, okay. I'm going to go back a few steps because I sort of confused myself. Right, I'm going to go back a few steps here because I sort of confused myself. So the 8 pairs up with 2 numbers here, which sum up to 12. That's going to make the 20. These 2 numbers would pair up to 15. And there's some going down here that goes to 10. First of all, we can't, we only have 6, 9, and 7, 8 pairs as options going across. We can't do 6 because it goes to another 6. We can't do 7 because this would end up going to a 5. And this here in the middle, well, that ends up going to an 8, which is the same here. If this was an 8, we would have a 7 in this spot and a 4 in this spot, but that sums to 19, not 18. So our only option is to have a 9 in this spot, which would pair with a 6 and a 3, and that makes 17, so it needs a 1. So we shade the cell at the bottom, we shade one cell going to the right of that. The 7 is now guaranteed to go with an 8-7 pair, which satisfies the 15, which means we also satisfy the 15 column. I should go ahead and cross some of these sums that we have already entered into the grid off. All right, now that that's done, for the 9s on the right, we actually have a 9 in the ignored cells now, so we cannot make a single cell 9 region, which means all of the other 9 regions span 2 cells. We also know that this cell here is not a 9, so this is the 2-cell region on the right side. So we have shaded cells in these spots, and we got a 9 over here. If it connects to the cell up here, there's no room for an 8 region in column 8. So the 9 goes down and takes 2 more cells to make the 19. These sum up to 10, but they can't include 9, 8, 7, so they've got to be a 4, 6 pair. This 4, 6 also pairs up with another 4, 6 to make another 10 for the 3rd row from the bottom. And that resolves this because there's a 6 in column 10. So we have our 19, we have our 10. We do go up to our 8, which is a bit broken in it. No, it's not. 5, 3 is the only option for that 8. 6 is taken for 6, 2. 7 is taken for 7, 1. And 8 is taken for 8 itself. We do have to connect everything here to make the 39. We are missing 4 numbers in column 5, or rather we're missing numbers totaling to 4. This can't be a 1, 3 now. So it's got to be the 4 that is missing, and that is going to be over here. So the 4 goes with an 8 to make the wild 20. For this 10 in the 9th row, we either place a 2 or a 3 on the left side, which makes this either a 7 or an 8 on the right side. Both of those are still fine. Oh yeah, we placed a 4 in the middle column that pairs with a 7. This cell in the right of the 4th, that's the 1 clue. That pairs with an 8 to make the 9. I see something in the 2nd row. There's ones in the fourth, fifth, and fifth column, and the sixth and the first column, they have an 11 and a 12, respectively, so no ones can be placed there. It can only be in this middle cell. Now these two numbers, they sum up to 11 because of the 12 clue at the top. Yeah, they sum up to 11, which means these three sum up to 14, so this needs to be a 6 to give ourselves the 21. Our three missing numbers now are 2, 4, 5. We cannot place a 2 in this cell because of column numbers, and we cannot place a 5 because this would go to a 7. So this resolves as a 4 and an 8 here. And we get our 2 on the right. This is a 9. And this is a 5. We need two more numbers that sum up to 6. 1, 5 is impossible, so it's got to be 2, 4. These two numbers sum up to 12 in the 6th row. 3, 9 is possible. 4, 8 is impossible because of the 8 here. 5, 7 could still be possible. Oh, but yeah, we have 3, 5 here as well. This is another thing that sums up to 12. So this is also going to be a 7, 9 pair. This cannot be a 9 because if it is, then the other two numbers have to be 1 and 2. And those are both in the 5th row. So this has to be a 7. No, wait. Let me undo that. It can be a... No. 9 is not doable by Sudoku. Or, yeah. 1, 2, 4, 3 are all impossible for this top spot, so this has got to be a 5 with the shaded cell below to make the 12. This pairs up with a 5. There's a 3 up top. That means our pair over on the left side, that's a 3, 9 pair. I don't think I can make this two separate groups in column 3. In column 3, we still need a 9 and a 7 below this 12, which we've already put in the top. I thought there were two options for having these cells split apart or having them together, but I don't think we can have them split apart now, because if we do, that turns this into a 7, which turns this into a 2. 2's above, so that's not going to work. So we do have something here for the 10. So our 9 is going to go into column 4 with a 3 on the left. For column 4 again, we do have 2 and 1 in that column now, so this has got to be a 3. And that satisfies our 3 clue at the top. Currently in the 28, we have 2, 1, 9. We do not have the 6. That is 12. We are missing 16. Can we do it without the 8? Then our highest numbers would be 5, 7, 4. It's still doable. Okay, there's still options here. Let's check back to that later. In that row going across, yeah, we do need to shade this cell first of all, because there need to be two shaded cells and everything else is unshaded. We need to place a 6, a 7, and a 9. We have two spots where the 7 can't be by just Sudoku. So this has got to be a 7. Now it's just a 6 and a 9. We cannot place a 9 in this spot because this is a 16 group. So 9 goes to the left. There are 3 missing in this 16 group. There's a 1 and a 3 on the right side, so this has got to be a 2 with a 1 below it. Now there's a 1, and this is a 10 group which contains 4 digits. So this has got to be a 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 can only be in this right spot. We are missing 2, 4. All right, 2 can only be in the left. So this is 4. What number were we missing in again in column 4? Right now it's 7, 9, 4. That's 20. 1, 2. So we are missing a 5. That's the 28. So for 20 going across, we need 6. And that gives us almost everything for the 45 as well. Going down, 8 is the missing number. That is a lot of numbers cleared off that we didn't mark yet, so let's get to that real quick. And done. The only numbers that we do not have in the top are a part of this 11, but we might be able to get that more with more information from the bottom. We need 4 more for the 9, and that's still got to have one cell in between itself and the 7, so we can just do that. 4, that's got to pair up with a 5 now on the other side. The 5, that goes with a 7 sum. Now we know the 7 only has one spot where it can go because this cell is now shaded. So this is shaded at the bottom. This has got to be an 8. We know this is a 6 now because it was a 6-8 pair before. And what's remaining for the 20? We need 6 more for the 20. That's a 1-5 pair somehow. So let's mark that. Oh yeah, but of course it can't be a 1 because the 1 would be a part of the 20 sum for the wild 20s constraint. So this is a 5-9 and a 1 in the center. That perfectly matches up with the 10s on the right too. So that's taken care of. We might as well get the 11. That is going 2-9 is not possible. 3-8's not possible. 4-7's not possible. It's got to be 5-6. And there's only one way to do that, by Sudoku. Now this 11 at the bottom, that's going to be a 5-6 pair. Only one way to do that as well. This is an 8-6. That already completes the 14 for the row. That's marked off. There's a 3 that goes below. This connects to the right. The 18 clue definitely goes at least 2 more in. We're very close. We're very close. The 12 clue in the 5th column from the bottom, 5th row from the bottom, that is a 5-7 pair. We can get that by Sudoku. 7 pairs with a 2. We get another 7 here. And for the 18 going down, that is a 2 at the bottom. We are missing 6 in the bottom row. So that's 3 going up. We definitely need a number here, and we have 8 numbers in the column. Our missing number is 9, right? Because we can just check the 18 and the 18 at the top. A 9, and we need 6 more. We have 6 more to go. It's either a 6 and a shaded cell or 2 numbers that sum up to 6. I think the only option would be 2, 4 here, or 6. But if we have 6 in a shaded cell here, that doesn't work because of the 13 clue going down. These 2 numbers here, whoops, I accidentally moved the background. But those 2 numbers would sum up to 7, and 7 plus 9 is not 20. So this is in fact just disambiguated by the 20s constraint. This is going to be a 4, which makes this 2. And these 2 cells add up to 9 now, which complement the 4 to make 13. So we got to check our 9 options. 4-5 is impossible, 3-6 is impossible, 2-7 is impossible, so it's got to be 1-8, and 1-8 is doable by Sudoku. Done. That was a very, very tricky solve, but a very, very enjoyable one. If you've enjoyed this video, I don't know, do what you want. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll try to keep improving the quality of my videos here. And I'll see you soon next time. Bye bye.